in algebra, reasoning, and equations and inequality, solving equations using the process and explain the reasoning. We're still using that. We're still addressing the math practice standard number 6, attending to precision, and we're still looking at structure in the math practice standard number 7. Okay? We know that we've been working on multi-step equations, right? So our objective for today, I can solve multi-step equations. I can solve multi-step one-variable equations involving proportions. Let's read it together. 1, 2, 3. I can solve multi-step one-variable equations involving proportions. So we're still on multi-step one-variable equations, and now we're going to do an extra component, but I need to refresh your memory in regards to proportions. So, but do we know what one-variable equations are? Yes. We covered that, okay? We know what our steps are, right? Simplify, isolate, plot, check. Simplify, isolate, plot, check. Okay, we got it, right? So, I gave you some notes, so just follow along. When I ask you to box something, just box it with the same color I box it, okay? Here we go. Some of the vocabulary we're going to be using. Ratio. What is a ratio? Is a comparison of two quantities. The ratio of A to B can be written as A to B or A to B. So, with red, I want you to box this. Everybody look up. A to B is the same as this one. A to B, which is the same as this one. A to B. All those three mean A to B. Everybody there? Okay, underneath that, I'm going to give you an example. Example Q, you have a little bit of space there, right? Okay, write this down. 2 to 3. So, write it the other two forms. How else can we write this? Go. So, let's see if you wrote this. 2 to 3 is the same as 2 to 3 or 2 to 3. Hands if you wrote that. That is correct. So now we know that this is a ratio. And like I said, this is more a review from last year. Yes? Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, it's the same thing. But I just want to make sure we understand that it is written all three different ways, right? All right, and just remember that the denominator cannot be 0. Okay, so that's a ratio. A proportion. A proportion is a statement where two ratios are equal. So do you see here, this is a ratio, this is a ratio. Yeah, we said a ratio is written like that, so we have a fraction equal to another fraction. Any questions with a proportion? Okay, let me show you what is not a proportion. Check this out. Not. Watch, I'm going to write it right here. X over 2 equals, X over 2 plus 1 equals 3/4. This is not a proportion. Why not? Let me show you. Because this one has a fraction equal to another fraction. Is this a fraction equal to another fraction? No, because it has something here. But if I was to take this out, this is a proportion, right? How about like this? No. This one, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, no, yes, no. Does everybody understand the difference? Write this down. Just put not, and then write this. That's a non-example. So, did everybody write the non-example? Okay, here we go. Let's continue. So we know what a ratio is. We know what a proportion is. A rate. A rate is a ratio. Look, a ratio is a fraction. Isn't this a fraction? Yes. However, a rate is a special type of ratio where the two quantities are different units. Look at this one. This one is miles and gallons. You see how it's two different things? It's kind of like if I said Priscilla runs 3 laps in 30 seconds. So therefore that would be a rate, because I can write it like this: 3 laps in 30 seconds. Do you see how it's two different type of units? This is distance and this is time. Do you see that? Okay, so this is also a rate. Copy that one, please. 3 laps in 30 seconds. You can write, yay, Priscilla. Focus, please. Everybody done? All right. So we got that. So now we understand a ratio, a proportion, and a rate. A rate is a ratio, but it's a special type of ratio because it has different units, okay? However, there's a special type of rate. Check this out. The special type of rate is called the unit rate. Unit rate, the word unit, who's heard of the word uno? Comes from the word uno, which means what? One. Which means, everybody look up. Everybody look up, please. So check this out. If this one is 34 miles in 2 gallons, this one has to be a 1 in order for it to be a unit rate. Why unit? Because it's a 1. Does everybody see that? Also, if Priscilla ran 3 laps in 30 seconds, we want to find out how many seconds it took her to run how many laps? No, 1 in order for it to be a unit rate. Does everybody understand that? Let me show you it again. This was the original rate. To find out the unit rate, we want to find out how many miles in 1 gallon. So how many miles in 1 gallon? We needed to divide by 2, so we get 17 miles. In 3 laps, she ran it in 30 seconds. So what do we need to do to this to get 1? Divide by 3. So how many seconds? 10. Bam. 1 lap, 10 seconds. Pretty good. That's what we call the unit rate. Are we there? Any questions? We got it? All right. So with that said, check this out. I gave you these 2 problems. Let's start with this one. First things first. It says, the ratio of the number of bones in a human ears to the number of bones in the skull is 3 to 11. So they're talking about a ratio. So that you get a process as to how to set these up. I'm going to show you really quick. First things first. What is the first type of bone that they mentioned? Let's see. It says the ratio of the number of bones in the human ears. So I'm going to box the word ears in red to the number of bones in the skull. I'm going to box the skull in blue. Do the same, please. So what am I doing that? Because this is what I'm asking you to do so that you can see the process as to what belongs to what. So everybody look up. What is the first type of bone they mentioned? The ears. And look at the ratio they give us. 3 to 11. The first number that appears is which one? 3, and that belongs to the first thing that they talked about. So therefore this belongs to the ears. That's why I boxed it in red. So what does the 11 belong to? The bones in the skull. There it is. Okay. So if I was to write a ratio with this, check this out. This becomes 3 over 11. Is that the same? Yes, right? So check this out. With the information that they give me, I'm going to write a proportion. What's the proportion? Let me show you. It says there are 22 bones in the skull. What color should I box the word skull? Blue. Okay, so look at it. It's 22. So if I was to write it here, because it's similar to this, where would it go? On the bottom. Okay. And since I don't know what the ears are yet, I'm going to label that X. And who remembers cross multiplication from last year? I start, check this out, let me do this. I start wherever the variable is at. So these two I'm going to multiply. 11 times X, that's 11X equals. The second thing will be the other two. 3 times 22, that's 66. And to solve, we know how to solve this, right? Divided by 11, divided by 11. We're left with x equals 6. But 6 what? 6 bones in the ears. So check this out. So I'm going to write, there are 6 bones in the ears when there are 22 bones where? In the skull. You see what we did? All right, see if you can do the next one next to it by yourself. Here it goes. The next one reads, the ratio of red marbles to green marbles is 6 to 5. There are 18 red marbles. How many green marbles are there? Use the same process that we just did. Use colors, please, so it can help you. Go. Okay, let's see. So you wrote, well, first of all, I hope you box red marbles with red and green marbles with green. Okay, so therefore the 5 belongs to the green, the 6 belongs to the red. Is that correct? And then you wrote 6 over 5 equals 18 over x. And so if you did that, yes? Cross multiply, I start with a variable. 6 times x, that's 6x. 5 times 18, that's 90. Divide by 6, divide by 6. X equals 15. Hands if you got that. However, are we done?
No.
No. There are 15 green marbles when there are 18 red marbles. Hands if you got something like that. Okay, good. All right, so do we know how to cross multiply already? Yes? So cross multiplication just goes across like so. So far so good. Copy this one down, please. Solve the proportion. 3/9 equals 5 over m. Do this one together. Yeah, if it doesn't fit on the bottom on the other one. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. All right, so let's see. Where do I start, Lucy? Cross multiply, but where do I start? With a variable. So 3 times m, that's 3m, equals 9 times 5, that's 45. To solve, we divide by 3, divide by 3. M equals 9. Hands if you got that. You got that? No. What is 45 divided by 3? 15. Hands if you got that. Okay, good. All right, let's continue. Here we go. Copy this one. Example 2b. Negative 5 over 2 equals y over 8. Okay, help me out, Gina. What do I do? Okay, where do I start? Okay, so 2 times y, that's 2y equals negative 40. So therefore, divide by 2, y equals negative 20. Hands if you got that. Okay. All right, let's start with the fun stuff then. Here we go. Let's move on. Copy this one. Example 3a. Solve. 6 over y minus 3 equals 2 over 7. Copy that, and I'll do the first step. So we still have a proportion. Check this out. Everybody look up, please. Fraction equal to another fraction. Are we there so far? The only thing, this one has a variable and a number together. But we still start with the same process. We cross multiply where the variable is at. So check this out. I'm going to start cross multiplication right here. The 2 times that. That's where the variable is at. Is that correct? So if I'm multiplying, that means I need to put a parenthesis here so that I know that I need to distribute to both. What is 2 times y? 2y. What is 2 times negative 3? Negative 6. And what is 6 times 7? 42. And do you know what to do from there? Yes. Copy that and solve. All right, let's see. Plus 6 plus 6. 2y equals 48. Divide by 2, divide by 2. Y equals 24. Hands if you got that. Okay? No. All right, let's continue. Copy this next one, please. Example 3b. G plus 3 over 5 equals 7 over 4. See if you can do that one by yourself. Go. 20 seconds. Okay, let's see. Cross multiply, I start where the variable is at, so I go 4 times these two. So that becomes 4g plus 12, because I distribute to both. Is that correct? Equals, what is 5 times 7? 35. Therefore, subtract 12, 4g equals 23, Michael Jordan. From there, we're left with divide by 4, divide by 4. The 4 fits in there 5 times, and we're left with 3/4, or 5.75. Hands if you got that by yourself. Okay, pretty good. All right, so let's move on. Check this out. Pens down, eyes up here. Look at this word problem. It says, Ralph Lau of Germany flipped a pancake 416 times in 120 seconds to set the world record. Find the unit rate. So now I'm going to show you how to find a unit rate. That's what we talked about at the beginning, remember? Unit rate. Let me show you how to set it up. You don't have to copy this, just pay attention. First, I set up a ratio. So this becomes 416 over 120. Since there's 2 different types, this is times flipped, and this is seconds. These are 2 different measures. This is a rate. Are we there? To find the unit rate, I want to find out how many times he flipped it and how many seconds. 1. That's why it's called the unit, because this has to be a 1. Are we there? So check this out. Do we know how many times he flipped it in 1 second? No. So what can I label that? X. And do we know what to do from there? Yeah, so check this out. Just pay attention. Here goes 120x equals 416. And then what do we do at the end? Divide by 120, divide by 120. X equals, 1 times x is x. This is 416 divided by 120. That's 360. Subtract, we're left with 56. Decimal, 0. It's in there 4 times, 480. Subtract, that's 80. Add a 0. It's in there 6 times. That's 720. I end up with 80. Do you see how it's starting to repeat? Yeah. So therefore, this will be 66. But what does it say? To the nearest 100. So it becomes 3.47. 3.47 approximately. So therefore, Ralph flips a pancake 3.47 times in 1 second. That's crazy. In 1 second. 1, 2, 3, almost 4 times. Watch, try it. Here we go. Let me do the count. 1, 2, let's see. Before the fist hits, see if you can flip 3.5 times a pancake.
I don't know. Yeah, I can.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyways, last thing. So do you know how to set up a unit rate? Yeah, right? You just set up your rate, set it equal to a proportion, and then one of them has to be 1. Are we there? Now check this out. I wanted to get to this one, to the percent. The word percent is broken down like this. Everybody look up. The word per means, in Spanish, it's por, which means by or times. The symbol that we use for that is multiplication sign. The word cent, who's heard of that before?
Money.
Exactly. Who's seen that before?
Me.
Yeah, right? So think about it. How many of those are there in a dollar?
100.
100. That's why these are called cents, because it's 0.01 or 1 out of 100. That's why they're called cents. Okay? So therefore, this whole thing times 1 over 100 is a percent. So when they say 25%, they're actually saying 25 times 1 over 100. Everybody with me? So pick this up. Oh, sorry. I don't know. Oh yeah, here it is. All right, so check this out. So when we write 25%, this becomes 25 times 1/100, which becomes 25 over 100, which simplifies to 1/4. Remember doing this last year? Okay. This is what I need you to copy. Copy this one. Part over whole equals percent over 100. Also copy this. Is over of equals percent over 100. You're going to use these two for solving percent problems. But specifically, the one I want to focus on is on the bottom one. Is over of equals percent over 100. 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 Now check this out. How does that work? Check this out. Let's say I give you this problem. Find 30% of 80. What was the proportion? Is over of equals percent over 100. So what I do, I write it blank. Blank over blank equals blank over 100. But now I know where each piece goes. Check this out. I read the problem. It says, find 30% of 100. Where does the percent go? On the top of the 100. Is that correct? So I write 30. Where does the of go?
Bottom.
At the bottom. So what is the only thing that they don't give us? This right here, right? So this I'm going to label X. So what do I do from there? Cross, multiply, and solve. Copy this one, please. Go. Okay, so to solve, let's see. I start with a variable. This is 100x equals, what is 8 times 3? That's 24. And how many zeros? 1, 2. And what do we do at the end? Divide by 100, divide by 100. X equals 24. And what is this? A number. 24 is a number. So we're done. Okay? All right, so homework is found on page what? 105 to 106. Oh, to 106 numbers what? 1 through 35 odd. Turn in your homework on your way out, please, guys. Have a good one. No tutoring today. I have a meeting. See you guys tomorrow.